Our goal here is to create two-dimensional arrays, both of which have 2 rows and 2 columns each, and then to add them together to get matrix C as the output, which is also having 2 rows and 2 columns. We have to first fill the first row, that means all the columns of the first row, then only we can move to the next row. And for this purpose, we require 2 loops. One will be for keeping track of rows and another one will be for keeping track of columns. That means it will be a nested for loop. First, we will define what is the row index value and then only we can move to the column value. So, let's begin here with our first line of code, which is hash include iostream, followed by using namespace standard, then int main function begins, and inside this main function we will declare two matrices, both of integer type, and let's call them as A and B. So the dimensions of both these matrices will be 2 by 2. So this step is done. The user will input values for both these matrices and we will store their sum in a third matrix which is also of the same dimensions, and let's call this third matrix as C. So it is C 2 by 2. Let's begin declaring a variable for keeping track of row index and column index. Now comes the input part. Here we will first get the values for matrix A. So I am asking the user to enter values for matrix A, and here in the next step we will apply the nested for loop. Our row index values are 0 and 1 because we have only 2 rows. So row index will begin at 0 and we are moving up to row 1 only, and we are incrementing the row count, so row plus plus. And same thing we have to repeat for column. We have to begin at column 0, then we have to move up to column 1 and we are incrementing the column index value, so column plus plus. After this we will have to get the input from the users. So to receive input in C++ we always use cin statement, and this is a two-dimensional matrix. So here we have to type the name of the matrix, which is A in this case. Then we have to supply the row index for which row and which column we are getting the input, that we have to mention over here. So this nested for loop is for taking the input from the users. Now comes the display part. In the next step we will display the values. So here I will type displaying matrix A, or you can keep it small, okay, in /n, and here again I have to repeat the same loops. So I'm just copying the code and pasting it over here with one slight change, which is to remove cin and to replace it with cout, because we are displaying the same values which we have just taken as input. After this return 0, and we are not done yet, but I want to show you what the program is looking like and what changes are required. So here I will save it as, let's say, sum matrix, and it is .cpp. So here you can see the name of the file is showing. Let's run this. Upon running, the output window shows, and here you can see enter values for matrix A, and here we have to type the 4 values. So I am going to provide 1, 2, 3 and 4. Here you can see all the values are displaying, but they are in one line, they are not showing in the form of a matrix. Now to create some space and proper spacing between all the values, I will apply a few changes. First of all, I will add a tab space between all the values, and let's run, and I want to show you what this tab space does. So here 1, 2, 3 and 4, so it has created one tab space between all the values. And now I want to bring these two values 3 and 4 to the next line, because we have 2 rows and 2 columns, and here only one row is showing, whereas 3 and 4 should belong to the next row. So I need to enter one /n, a new line character, and that I will apply over here outside the inner for loop. So cout /n, and as soon as I enter it, let's rerun the program. you will notice the change 1, 2, 3 and 4, and now it is showing in the form of a matrix. Okay, we are done taking the input for the first matrix, and let's move to the second matrix. So I'm just going to copy this entire portion of the code, because same thing we have to repeat for our second matrix, which is matrix B. So I'll just change the names, enter values for matrix B this time, and similarly row and column loop is okay, but here we are taking input for matrix B instead of matrix A, and then we are displaying matrix B, and similarly here also we have to display the values that we are accessing from matrix B. Let's rerun the program and let us see what is the output now. So first matrix was 1, 2, 3 and 4 like this, and second matrix contains the values 10, 20, 30 and 40. So as you can see, our first matrix is showing here, second matrix is showing here, and now we are left with the summation of these two. While performing addition of two matrices, we need to add the values at the same row and column index in both the matrices. For example, here row 0 column 0 element, which is 1, will be added with the element 10, which is also at row 0 and column 0. This matrix is A, this matrix is B, and similarly the sum 1 plus 10 will be stored in the third matrix at the same index values for both row and column. So it is row 0 and column 0, and the sum 1 plus 10 is 11, that is stored here at this position within the third matrix. Same is done for all the other values. Here comes the most important part, which is to add the two matrices. So here I am going to display one statement /n adding two matrices, and again /n, and now I am going to repeat the same for loop. So once again, because this time we are doing it for matrix C, again we will begin with row value equal to 0, and row will go up to value 1, row plus plus. Inside the inner for loop also we have to apply the same index values, but this time for column less than equal to 1 and column plus plus. But inside this loop body, here we are going to add the two matrices and store their result in third matrix C. What we are doing here, we are adding a particular element at a given row and column index of matrix A with the value at the same row and column index of matrix B, and we are storing their sum in matrix C at the same row and column index. So here I will have to type column, and let me add the assignment operator. Okay, and we will terminate this statement. So here we have added a particular element of matrix A. We are accessing a particular element at a given row and column index, and we are adding the element at the same row and column index for matrix B, like 1 and 10, and then that value is being added and stored inside matrix C at the same row and column index. Okay, this is the addition part which is over, and finally we are only left with displaying of matrix C. Once again I am going to copy the code to save our time, and I'll paste it here. So I'll change the name displaying matrix C, or you can simply type here sum of matrix A and B is, and here you will have to change the name for matrix C. Rest of the code remains the same. Let's rerun the program and see the output. Once again I am going to type the same values 1, 2, 3, 4 for matrix A, 10, 20, 30 and 40 for matrix B. So matrix A is here, matrix B is here, and adding two matrices will give us the sum as 11, 22, 33 and 44.